Hello, good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Coffee and Headlines, our morning get together live here on Facebook, where we get feisty and we get fierce. I've already had my first little love letter from Telmex this morning, so I'm feeling frisky and fresh and feisty and feliz, which means happy to be here with you and share the latest news and headlines from Mexico City, from our state, Jalisco, from our city, Puerto Vallarta. Share interesting tidbits that we hear about businesses and things to do here in Puerto Vallarta, all for one single purpose: for us to have a most amazing life here, living in Puerto Vallarta as English-speaking locals. If you are an English-speaking local, you are more than welcome to join us. Grab your favorite beverage and share your thoughts and your comments. If this is the first time that you're joining us, please add the letter N or the word new to the beginning of your comment. If you have something that is particularly important for you to bring up, or you have something specific that I should pay attention to, just write the letter Q at the beginning of your comment. How do we come up with the letter Q? Well, that's what other social media people do. So new for new people, Q for important stuff, and here we go. Today we have all kinds of new items to share with you, having to do with politics, with COVID, with cruise lines, with what else do we have? And I'm having to face I have a big reflector shining on me, so sometimes I cannot read my headlines. But we have all kinds of information. And of course, we have Taco Tuesday on a Thursday. And look at that. Look at that. We have a new person, Rox Broughton. Broughton? Rox. Let's just say Rox. Rox is new, just moved to Puerto Vallarta. Bravo, welcome. Grab your coffee, throw some Baileys in it, or do whatever it is you want to drink, so that we can all hang out here and enjoy the cluster. The cluster can be a little fierce, but they're a cluster, that's for sure. We're all a cluster. So enough of that. Let us get started with the news, and then with some leisurely stuff, then Taco Thursday or Taco Tuesday on a Thursday, and then we will take a look at your comments. Well, this is good news. Recently elected Puerto Vallarta Mayor Luis Alberto Michel met with Governor Alfaro for the first time. The meeting was reported as a cordial and friendly meeting by several news sources. Now, whenever I see a local source saying that two politicians met and the meeting was cordial, I always feel a little cautious about that. It's kind of like when you're a performer and you're performing at one of the local venues, and you ask anybody in the audience, well, how was it? And somebody just says, oh, it was wonderful. And that's it. So apparently the meeting was cordial. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. What I do know is that our newly elected mayor invited Governor Alfaro to come to Puerto Vallarta and meet with local tourism and business representatives to outline and prioritize projects for the remainder of the year and the beginning of 2022. Now we have to talk about COVID. Active COVID-19 cases in Puerto Vallarta doubled in a week, going from 267 to 544. This, of course, increases the demand in local hospitals, and several news outlets have confirmed that at the IMSS clinic number 170, located on Francisco Medina Asensio in the hotel zone, patients presenting COVID-19 symptoms now are having to wait as much as 5 or 6 hours to be examined. Not pretty. If you want more numbers, yesterday Puerto Vallarta beat its own record of new daily COVID-19 cases with 127 newly reported cases. The previous highest number was reported this past Friday with 122. Jalisco Health Secretary Fernando Peterson pressed local health authorities to respect and reinforce current preventive measures among tourists and locals, which they are doing to the best of their ability. And as we frequently mention here at Coffee and Headlines, while they're doing that, all we can do is take care of ourselves and of our immediate communities. This article from Vallarta Opina mentions that 906 COVID cases have been reported so far this month, but just as important, it offers a reminder of the last time state health authorities increased occupancy in local businesses, so we might as well review the numbers in case you're wondering what is presently allowed and what is presently not allowed in Puerto Vallarta. Shops and services, businesses and services can accept as much as 75% of their occupancy. Supermarkets, department stores went from 50 or 50% or 300 people to 75% or 500 people in their capacity to receive you. So if you want to go to La Comer can only have 75% of capacity. Restaurants and cafes and food stands went from 50% to 75%. Hotels and motels went from 66% to 80%. And bars, and this is the reason why we're going through this exercise, bars and nighttime venues went from 33% to 40%. So by the book, and yes, and casinos and places where you gamble went from 40 to 60%. So by the book, this is the funny part of this bit of news, by the book, local bars and nightlife venues are supposed to only have 40% of their total capacity. Well, because I'm sitting here in my home, I cannot measure that or confirm or deny it. But based on what I've seen, it really is laughing matter, and it is not laughing matter when you read that that bars are only supposed to allow 40% of their overall capacity. And of course, we recently reported that several bars were shut down this past weekend. Now we learned some of the names of the businesses involved. La Vaquita, Bar Morelos, and Señor Frogs received what is known as an apercibimiento de clausura. Apercibimiento de clausura is a very fancy way of saying, we perceive that something is not right, so we're going to admonish you. So I am not an expert of the legal implication of this or what exactly happens, but an apercibimiento de clausura seems to be when inspectors come into your restaurant and a couple is snorting lines of cocaine and they admonish you. Of course, who am I to say that snorting lines of cocaine is better or worse than spreading COVID? But that's what they do. They simply come into your business and they say, "Oh, you seem to be doing something wrong." And then we learned that 2 bars, Zoo and Bar Biblioteca, were shut down. That means that they were actually closed down. For good? I mean, those were the instructions that Governor Alfaro gave. But can you imagine walking down the Malecon to find that a place like the zoo was actually shut down for good? I can't. I can't. And I actually don't see our government um, doing this. I don't see our government really following on what they say they're supposed to do. But hey, that's just me. What can I tell you? Moving right along, let's see the number. Oh, yes. A number of jobs in Nayarit are now in danger given the latest restrictions imposed in the state that were announced yesterday. Yesterday, we announced that Nayarit said bars and restaurants are going to close early. I forget the exact numbers, but we announced them yesterday. This fact that the jobs are in danger was announced by the president of Coparmex, Alejandro Valdez Menchaca. And Coparmex is the organization that represents business owners in the country. He says it's a complex situation. Of course it is. We could finger point the business community for not following restrictions, the government for not verifying them, or people like you and I for not following them. But it really does take a little bit of effort from everyone to make these things work. Of course, jobs are at risk, and they're going to be at risk because everybody needs to do a little bit of something to make sure that the situation is kept under control. And yes, I'm following the very common trend of local news reporters that give the news, but then they pepper them with their own opinions. So, what can I tell you? Then the United States has emitted a new travel advisory for Mexico, asking travelers to reconsider visiting our country due to the third wave of COVID-19 cases, along with increasing risks involving organized crime. The advisory mentions 12 states in Mexico, including Jalisco plus Mexico City, as places that you should avoid. Our very own, very unofficial Coffee and Headlines travel advisory remains the same. And we have one because people frequently ask, should we come to Puerto Vallarta? Well, you should, of course, come to Puerto Vallarta if you understand what the local guidelines are, if you have the ability to appreciate that you are no longer in the United States or wherever you came from, that the local guidelines may be different than the ones where you came from, and that the ones where you came from mean nothing because you are not there, you are here. So if you can come to Puerto Vallarta and follow the local guidelines and have enormous common sense as to where you can and should be when you're here, then you're going to have a wonderful time. If you come to Puerto Vallarta expecting that things will happen exactly the way they were in your country, or that you should be offered exceptions because you already did that and the other, and so forth and so on, then stay home. Don't come here. It really is not a good time. And last but not least, if you want to read the official travel advisory, I'm going to leave it with you along with the show notes. My last formal news item has to do with school. The Guadalajara University has just announced that there is no turning back on the decision to resume classes in the state of Jalisco this coming month. Classes will begin during the following month, and according to Governor Alfaro, this will happen no matter what, even if further adjustments to the sanitary protocols must be put in place for this to happen. Before we continue with the news and the weather, I have a poll here. This poll, let me find it. Where are you, Mr. Poll? Poll. Let me there we go. This is a question that somebody asked of me the other day, and I thought it was a very interesting question. Let me see. How do I do this? I need to scroll because I cannot see my. Hold on, just 1 second. Should there we go. Okay, so somebody asked me this question, and I don't have a simple answer for this. And the question is, should businesses have the moral, if not legal imperative, to tell their customers that the staff has been infected with COVID and that is why they are closed. I am hitting the activate poll button so that this should hopefully appear on your screen momentarily. Again, I look forward to your comments on this one. For some reason, I am not able to verify if the poll is activated or not. So kindly let me know if you are seeing the poll on your screen, and if not, we will uh, feel so happy to be broadcasting on Telmex today. Um, Come on. Ah, you see the poll. Oh, good. Okay, so we will come back to that in a second. Meanwhile, let us take a quick look at the weather. Weather. I love it. Things are a little bit slow here. I think Telmex is having one of those slow down moments. The sun is out. Time to stop all criminal activity if it was that simple. Uh, wouldn't that be lovely? Uh, right now, we are experiencing 29 degrees Celsius, feels like 36. Humidity is at 82%. Fahrenheit temperature is 84 degrees, and our forecast for today is possible light rain in the afternoon with a high temperature of 32, low temperature of 24. Tomorrow, Friday, we can expect rain in the evening and overnight, high temperature of 33, low temperature of 24. Saturday, possible light rain in the evening and overnight with high temperature of 32 and a low temperature of 24. Nothing out of the ordinary for the next few days. I think somebody mentioned the name of a new tropical storm at the beginning of your comments. I didn't see it, but I'll come back in a second. I actually have not read anything about new depressions or tropical storms that are headed our way. There was a depression in the Pacific, and it went elsewhere. So this is the only reason why we didn't mention it. I have one more headline to share with you before we move into Taco Tuesday on Thursday. Your comments, and of course, this little question that I just sent your way. Royal Caribbean has just announced their return to Mexico's Pacific Riviera in November, with trips departing from Los Angeles and making stops in Los Cabos, Ensenada, Mazatlan, and Puerto Vallarta. It is expected that other cruise companies will begin making similar announcements. I didn't mean to hit that button. I meant to hit the button right next to it. Sorry about that. Now, let us very quickly take a look at the results on that poll. Not that these results will change anything. I don't think there is a law that expects businesses to explain anything to you, but it is interesting to see that when asked should businesses have the moral, if not legal imperative to tell their customers that the staff has been infected with COVID and that's why they are closed, 82% of you feel that it is something that businesses should do. I know that I've heard about businesses. I've heard about businesses closing. And as a business, I don't know that I necessarily feel that I should provide any explanations. But then as a customer, I kind of definitely would like to know something's going on. I know I have a couple of friends that are on the particularly concerned side, um, and they want to be, they want to be comforted knowing that they're going to a business that is um, completely clean. Now, I expect your comments to be divided on this. I'm already glancing at a couple of them, so we'll get to that in a second. First, let us talk about Taco Tuesday on a Thursday. Today, we are visiting a taco place with a pedigree. For those of you that have wondered if you will only go to a taqueria or a taco place if it comes from a reputable cook or something to that effect, well, have I got the place for you? And this place is called, no, not that one. It is called El Puerco de Oro. El Puerco de Oro is located on Calle Francia in Colonia Versalles. It's only one block away from Memo's beautiful Barrio Bistro. And it is like two doors down from the wonderful restaurant, hamburger place that was mentioned yesterday. So I'll be checking the hamburger place sometime in the near future. We like El Puerco de Oro because this is, I learned, the brainchild of renowned chef Joel Ornelas from Tintoque. Joel Ornelas opened this business, and the business is run by his mother, a very, very, very sweet lady. And it's tiny, as you can see from this photograph. It barely has enough space inside for four tables, and it is wide open, so you can sit there and feel completely comforted knowing that there's good ventilation. This is a pork restaurant, but they don't sell carnitas, which is like the pork meat product that you would expect any place to say. And in fact, they have a sign up on top of this wall that says hashtag they are not carnitas. They do present their meats the way traditional pork taco stands do, with an incandescent light, keeping everything nice and warm. But what are you looking at? What is it that this place offers? Well, they offer three types of tacos. That's it. I mean, they do have weekend specials and stuff like that, but the the bottom line here is that you can get tacos de chicharrón en salsa verde, which is pork rind on green sauce. You can get tacos de pancita, which is belly tacos. A lot of people think, belly, ooh, I don't want to eat belly. But let me tell you, belly is heavenly. And if you don't want meat in your tacos, you can get a bean and panela taco. They are served on blue corn tortillas, and it is just delicious. Delicious. What a beautiful experience. It is clean. It happens quickly. You don't have to wait. They have the usual share of salsas for you to enjoy, and other spices. Some of the salsas are mild. Some of the salsas are spicier. So it was a great experience, and I am so definitely going back because the place was very affordable, very wonderful. So if you like pork, you cannot go wrong with this place. The nice lady, the chef's mother, explained to me that apparently Chef Ornelas has served pancita at the fancy Tintoque restaurant a couple of times, and it has been very, very well received. And he figured, well, I really do want this, but I want this in tacos. So this is Joel Ornelas' recipe, and it is really wonderful. And because we are now, get this, we are now all caught up with uploading tacos to the taco map and videos, I have a little video for you. And of course, I'm going to leave you with the Facebook page for El Puerco de Oro so that you can like it and you can learn about any kind of promotions that they have. I'm happy to say, and I'm happy to see that their Facebook page shows their price range. It shows their hours. We had been talking about hours, and you can see they close on Monday. They open at 9 a.m., so these are morning tacos, and they remain open until 3 p.m. So this is something you may want to explore. And of course, yesterday I gave a bunch of TLC to our Taco Tuesday map, now we have, I believe there's 15 taco places, which means that we've been going at this for 15 weeks and there are still so many more taco places to explore. I remind you that this beautiful map is available for you. You can browse it on your phone, you can browse it on your tablet if you're out and about, and each one of the tacos places has a brief description, a link to their Facebook page, and a short video like the one I just showed you. Of course, access to this map is only available for supporting members. So if you are a supporting member, you have already received a link as to where you can find this map. If not, please check on our frequently asked questions document or feel free to drop me a line. And with that said, we are done with our formal broadcast, and now it is time to read your comments. Ding, da, ding, dun, ding, dun, dun, da, ding, dun, dun. Okay, so lots of happy good mornings as always. And I'm going to skip through these because it's already 10:57. I don't want to keep you here longer than necessary. I'm sure you have all kinds of wonderful things to do today. This is what I read earlier. Thank you very much, John. I assume that Felicia is the next tropical storm or tropical storm in the making. I am going to check the weather forecast and I'm going to check the storm warning centers just to see if this is something that we should be worried about. Sly asks, good morning, where can one buy the mango fork? We showed the mango forks yesterday. I find them at supermarkets. When you go through supermarkets and you go into the aisles where they have kitchen-related chingaderas and where they have cutlery and silverware, that's where you usually find them. They usually sell them packages of 2 or 4. And I must say, not every supermarket has them. Because it's one of those things. It's one of those weird things that are not commonly used or commonly known about, which I find absolutely fascinating. But good luck with that, Sly. And if I run into them in specific supermarkets, I'll be happy to bring back a report. Let's see. Doo-dee-doo-dee-doo. I see a congratulations. I see some welcomes. Yes, that's because we welcome somebody to the cluster. You guys are everywhere. I always get so happy when I see. Oh, Christy. Christy sent very sad news to me yesterday. Yesterday, Christy got in touch with me. As you know, Christy is our local wildlife mother because she volunteers, or this is a passion, or I don't know what it is, but Christy works with wild animals, rescuing them, nursing them, and she recently showed us some photographs and some video of beautiful baby raccoons that unfortunately contracted a disease that called for them to be put to sleep. This was really sad. What I didn't say to Christy is that yesterday I was binging on this amazing HBO series, Chernobyl, based on, of course, the reactor accident. And I won't share any spoilers by saying this, but there is one very difficult episode to watch in which authorities have no choice but to go through the contaminated areas and shooting animals to death so that they can be buried under layers of concrete. This actually happened. So this particular episode deals with a young volunteer who has to shoot dogs and cats as they're approaching him, and it was really, really difficult to watch. And just as I'm watching this, Christy lets me know about her raccoons. This is so very sad. Christy, my thoughts are with you, but I might continue to think it's wonderful that you are doing these things, and we always want to learn more about your pursuits with wild animals and their rescue. Let's see what else we have. The zoo was always busy. Well, when I walked by on Friday, it was very busy. I am wondering if we will be facing another shutdown. A friend who was vaccinated has just tested positive, so everyone who has had contact with him should be vaccinated, like a snowball effect. Well, that's the way things work, Cindy. Let's break it down. Are we going to have another shutdown? Well, the governor says no, but the science speaks. And if the science continues to show that things are getting bad, then we will probably have another shutdown. Uh, Being vaccinated does not mean that you're completely immune. I think that our authorities have said this all over again, over and over again. So it is like a snowball effect, unfortunately. Um, I feel and hear your sadness, Terry. This makes me very sad as well. Let's see what else. Da, 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 da. Doo-dee-doo-dee-doo-doo-dee. Oh, happy birthday, Pam Thompson. I hope you will give yourself some time to go and celebrate because you are a busy woman. Let's see what else we have. Evie says, I'm looking good. Thank you very much, Evie. I hope you're doing well. I read your post about your doggy, and whenever we lose a pet, it's always difficult. But te mando un besote y te mando mucho cariño. Let's see what else. We saw the poll results. We saw it worked. Yes. Lovely. Let's see. Tomas Pollito Flannery says no. If it's closed, the reason is not important and does not affect anyone since exposure is not a concern if close. Okay. Paul Chris says if a staff member of a business gets COVID and it is not working, why would a business need to close? Test all employees, clean and sanitize as required, and that's it. No customer is in any more danger of contracting COVID in that business than anywhere else. Okay. Stephanie says yes. Businesses should notify. I lost two family members. Both were vaccinated. I still believe that all should be vaccinated, exceptions, medical reasons. Okay. Let's see. Dave loves the name Puerco de Oro. If you love the name, oh my God, you should try the food. I wonder if there was a connection to Tintoque. Well, there it is. William explained and the whole lot. Angelica says no to the poll. If you tell people you closed because of COVID, I will feel they didn't follow rules and I would not feel safe going back if they open. Okay. Okay. Let's see what else. I don't know if that question is addressed to me, so oh, it's addressed to William, so it's not a question for me. Never mind. Yes, blue corn tortillas. I totally fail to remember if I mentioned the blue corn tortillas when I show you the photographs at El Puerco de Oro. And yes, I don't know if I was lucky or if they always serve their tacos on blue corn tortillas. Dr. Felipe Arce offers an interesting point of view. Having COVID should not be a reason for feeling embarrassed. If exposure is a strong possibility, then share it with close contacts so that those folks can take the necessary precautions. It helps decrease the spread. I think the question I posed is complicated also because I'm going to close because somebody got infected. We're closed right now because somebody got infected, and there's oh yeah, we just reopened. You see, we had been closed because somebody got infected. And I know that it's a question that is a loaded question. Some people may feel comfortable with it. Some people may not feel comfortable with it. I don't know what is right or wrong. I'm just putting the question out there for us to think about it. Do, 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 do. Tried local tacos de cabeza that were amazing. Thank you for that recommendation, Paco. There is nothing like it. They melt in your mouth. Yes, anything that comes from the cow's head, a lot of people get squirmy, but some of the the head offerings are absolutely delicious. Here's a taco question. Why do they put beans and cabbage in tacos here in Vallarta? I don't have an answer for that, William, because I'm not a cook. And I am not, I don't know the answer to that question any more than I know why they serve beverages with straws in them, or why, you know, I don't know. But, you may want to check with your favorite taco restaurant so that they can let you know why beans and cabbages are put in tacos here in Vallarta. For that matter, you should know that beans and cabbage are put in tacos in a lot of places in Mexico. Not everywhere, and not in every kind of taco, but some tacos, that's what they do. Let's see what else. Dun, 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 dun. Unfortunately, some feel there is a negative stigma associated with contracting COVID. Ooh, well, yeah. Unfortunately, that is the case. If the business is closed, who cares why? The place will be clean when it reopens. Okay. Uh, okay. Here's a good point to remind you folks. Feel free to challenge one another elsewhere. Uh, Respectfully. Please don't start discussions amongst yourselves here at Coffee and Headlines. This is not what we do here. Here, we take in information with gratitude. We rely on important pointers that are offered on the show notes for you folks to go and explore topics on your own. But, William, um, Dr. Arce is entitled to his opinion as much as you are entitled to yours. If you're going to argue back and forth, don't do it here. William, Karen Smith Guzman, that's crazy. Again, William, that's two in a row. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. Who am I to say to anyone that they're crazy for their opinions? If you're going to disagree with someone, disagree respectfully, but don't call anybody crazy, please. Um, let's see what else. Oh, Lynn found a tutorial for the mango fork. Now that I'm definitely going to click on after we're done with the broadcast. Let's see. I understand that, Pat. I understand this. Some people have seen the AIDS pandemic up close. Some people have seen COVID pandemic up close, and it is a um, complicated issue. Da, 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 da. Let's see what else. Let's see what else. Heather Wilson says, I appreciate that Salud shared they were closed due to COVID amongst employees. This gives recent clients a chance to self-monitor closely. Okay, there's that. Let's see what else. Only about 150 vaccinated people in the US who died from COVID, of 18,000 deaths in May. That's good to know for people living in the United States. Let's see what else. Um, I'm sorry, William. Thank you for defending what you just said. I just saw two posts in which you applied adjectives to somebody else's statements. Again, this is a friendly reminder. They're great, famous, and infamous places online where you can go and agree and disagree with other people, rants and raves, and all these other Facebook places. This is not like that. So please allow everyone to express their opinion. And if you disagree, either kindly disagree, but don't go on judging other people for how they think or how they feel here at Coffee and Headlines. That's my only request. I don't think it's much to ask. If you can't follow that, then I'm going to ask you to go tune somewhere else. So that's the end of our broadcast today on July 15. If you had important news that you learned today, if you had a good time, if you were inspired, if you think this is important to you, please consider supporting Coffee and Headlines by clicking on the link above. The link is available everywhere. So here we are. Tomorrow is Friday. It's the end of the week. We don't have anything special planned, but we will always continue with our news and headlines. I think it's time for the national COVID stoplight to be updated. I forget if it's this week or the next. We'll get to see how we fare. But between now and then, thank you for being kind to one another, at least here in Coffee and Headlines. Thank you for allowing everyone to express their opinions and for being respectful of them. Thank you for staying kind. Thank you for being healthy. Thank you for eating tacos. Thank you for coming back. Have a great Thursday.